Hey guys, this is Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to video number 2 in our Use Your Scraps series. So I have done a few series before that are scrap focused, and I don't want to say this is no different than that, but I am trying to think more outside of the box with the scraps that I am using here. Now with this one, I wanted to really play around with shapes and also just a specific color blocking. And what I meant by that is I am going to use yellows. As you can see, my photos have a lot of blues in there because of the sky, and I figured yellow is complementary with blue and it's going to make those blues stand out more with those yellows, and so I'm going to do that. Now with the first layout that I have made with this series, if you haven't watched that one, make sure that you check out my channel and it should be all in a playlist. I focused on the greens and made some leaves. Now with this one, I'm going to do kind of the same thing, but I'm going to focus on the yellows and I'm going to turn them into circles. I don't know, I just felt like circles is fun. So I'm going to take my, I believe it's like 1 3/4 inch punch. It's an EK Success. And I'm just randomly punching circles from all of these yellow papers. And then my idea is that I'm going to overlap them. So they're kind of like scallop, but it's more than just a single row. They're going to just be a bunch of it. And again, I'm going to use them as my bookends for my layouts. I did a class a long time ago. It was an online class, and I did double page layouts, and I've kind of talked about like my go-to designs for double page layouts. And one of the things that I like to do as my design is bookends, meaning that the photos are in the center of your 2-page spread, and then you have things that kind of anchor that on the ends. And I call that bookends because, you know, if you think about a bookend, it kind of holds all the books together, keeps it from falling. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm sorry that there's a little bit of a glare. I think it's because the yellows are too bright, and also, you know, it just affects the lighting that I have here in my video. But you can see the gist. I'm just overlapping it. There are some that won't have a perfect circle, and so I am specifically putting that where I know I'm going to overlap it with another circle so that you don't see much of that cut that's not curved. So I'm just going to go through this again, go through it some more and just cut out a bunch of it. I think I will run out of yellow paper here, which makes me happy. You don't know how happy I am when there are things in my scrapbook room that gets used up, like all of it. And I ran out of it. It makes me happy. I know it's weird, but it does, because for me, what that means is I'm really utilizing the stuff that I have. Now, initially, I had thought that I would just put those striped blue and white as banners on the top and the left, but because I needed something to close off the circles on the ends, I am going to end up adding some more strips of paper on the left and right side of the layout. But right now, I'm going to start with my furthest circle. And the reason for that is because I do want to overlap it. So that means that end, or the circles that's closest to my photos would need to be the one that's behind or tucked in all the other layers of circles. So that's why I'm starting with that inside one. But with the T-square ruler, it makes it really easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this overlapping. I'm using my T-square ruler to make sure that I am as aligned as I can. And I'm just grabbing multiple circles at a time so I can make sure that it'll be efficient for me. And I'm also trying to make sure that I don't have a circle that's the same design close to each other. So like, for example, the stripped yellow that I just added, I want to make sure that in the next line, I don't have a stripped striped yellow close to it. So I'm just kind of, again, overlapping it. And then I'm also doing some kind of like a, it's like a pyramid, right? Like the first one that I did, there's 5, and then this one will have 6, and then the next one will have like 7, just so that it will kind of have that pyramid look or triangular look as well. And I really enjoyed doing this. It's very satisfying for me to do things like this because I've already thought about the design and all I have to do is execute it, and it's kind of mindless for me. So I was listening to a podcast while I was doing this. And this is, as you can see, there's this little part on the bottom of this last row that you can see the white. And that's when I decided that I wanted a strip there, just so that I don't have to do a fourth layer or fourth level, but also to cover up that white, I needed a border. But now I'm just gonna punch some more circles here because I'm running out, which is very interesting. You would think that I had enough yellow, but I guess I didn't. But that's okay because I can get some more or other papers. So now that I have this, I am kind of figuring out, see, this is when I was testing it out, like, do I want another layer there? And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to use up those rest of the circles. So here is where I'm going to change my idea of, instead of just putting the strip paper on the bottom and the top, I'm going to do it on the side as well. But before I commit to that, I'm going to go ahead and start the other one. Now, I don't know if you noticed earlier, but when I had laid my photos, most of the blocks of photos are on the left side. So there's a bigger space on the right side because I think there's only like 3 inches on the right that is occupied by photos. So I am going to intentionally make the circles for this particular side of the layout go further in. So it's actually, I started at 6 inches, so half of the layout or half of the paper, and then I'm going to start my my layering or my blocking there. And I hope that you guys are liking these videos from me and enjoying the process along with me. If you are interested, I know you have scraps. I mean, everybody has scraps, right? I hope that you guys will play along, and if not to replicate my layout, get some ideas or techniques from my layouts, and then work with your scraps, because we all need to use them up one of these days. Otherwise, they're like, I don't know, they're like all the all the other stuff that we have. They just accumulate, and they're like rabbits, right? Like they just accumulate so fast. And so I encourage you, highly encourage you, to take parts or seasons of your crafting where your focus is to use up your scraps, especially those papers that we know that we only bought for a specific thing, but then now we don't want to use it anymore because there's these new papers that we want to use up. We got to use the old ones so we can make room for the new ones. And let me tell you, I do not have any more yellow scrap papers after this because I used them all up. I don't know if you can see, or I'm going to have to show you a little bit later after I had cut these papers, but I ran out of yellow. And so if you can see, there's this dot paper, and it's actually multicolored on the top right. So I started adding papers like that just so that I can fill the space, because I was out of yellow, and I figured that one has yellow, and it does have different other colors in there, but the circle is not big enough that it adds conflict to all of the other circles that I have. Now, you might notice with this one, I did not add any papers on the bottom, and you can see that there are those spaces right next to the strip of paper and on the ends or on the edges of the circles. I have a plan for that, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. But first, let me finish all of my strips of paper first. I did miter the ends just because I like that look rather than overlapping them. It just looks cleaner for me. It looks like the intention was there to actually create a border with the papers instead of just overlapping them. And so that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so now my background's looking good. I really love the circles, and the curves of the circles goes towards the inside, so it will lead straight to my photos. Now, this is what I was talking about, my plan, because I was really low on my yellow papers. I think I was down to these two or some other ones, I can't remember. Here, see, I'm punching some more because I know I'm gonna need it. I just cut them in half so that I can create my own scallop, and then I can spread them out because I am all out of yellow, and then I can kind of find some spots where they can fit, and I'm gonna finish it this way. So nobody will know that it's not a complete circle that was placed on there. So now it's time to add my photos. I have, I believe, 8 3x4 photos here. Most of them, no, sorry, I have 8 8 3x4s. Most of them are the horizontal parts, so I'm not even going to trim them down. I'm just going to go ahead and just adhere them as is. And then I do have 2 that is vertical, but I will put that along with my 1 4x6. So these photos are of me and my family where we went to, my kids' elementary school is just on the other side of our street. Our street is kind of a U shape, and it's just on the other side. And I believe this was in April or March. It was right after they had called for stay-at-home orders for COVID. This was in 2020. And so one Sunday we decided that we were going to go over to the playground because it was a Sunday. We knew there wasn't any school, and there's very little chance that we were gonna meet with other people. And so we went there. We played some basketball. So me and my husband and my oldest, we played basketball. It was funny because even with the two of us, the parents, my teenage son still won over us. That's just how you know that you're getting old. Because when you're a teenage son, even there's 2 of you, he still won. Anyways, another thing that we did was we just kind of swung in the swings, and then we took a selfie on our way back home. So this was a really fun break from us, especially with being indoors for all of our days during the weekdays. So it was a nice time to get out, to feel of the sunshine, to be together, and it was just a lovely time. So that's what we did, and I already pre-printed my journaling, and I've cut that in a block, and I'm just kind of figuring out where it is going to be housed. Now, I initially thought that I was just going to put them on the side and not overlap it with the circles, but I ended up overlapping it with the circles. But it's okay because you can still see the designs of the circles even if I put that over there. And because I didn't really think these things through, I just kind of thought, well, I wanted the circles, and then I needed a place, of course, for my photos, and I'll kind of figure out where the rest of my elements will go. So this is what happens when I don't think things through. I'm gonna overlap that, but it's still okay. I think it still works. You can still see the gist or the bulk of my circles there. Now, again, because I didn't think things through, I had an idea of a of a title, but I really don't know what I was going to use. So I'm here kind of shopping with my thickers and seeing if I have enough. Now I wanted to spell, I think it was Sunday Fun Day. And so that black will be for the words fun and day. And then I'm looking for something else that would work for the word Sunday. And I feel like initially I was just going to go with neutrals just so I can keep those yellows and blues. But then I decided that, you know, this foam sticker that I've had for a long time, or thickers, I should say, this light green, it has the words or the letters that I need, so why not? So I'm going to incorporate that. I know it's not yellow or blue, but you know, it's a title, it will work. Now I have this new thickers and I'm kind of looking for words that could be used, but I'm going to go with these two that are used and loved, and hopefully I can use some more so that I can get rid of it or I can, you know, throw it away and have room for some new items. I don't have any more A's here, but I'm just going to use the @ sign because, you know, we live in the 21st century and that's what some people use for for their A's. And so I think it will work. People will understand what I'm trying to say with that word there, or with that symbol part of as part of my title. And then to finish off the layout, I will add a few details here and there, but I'm not going to be heavy on my embellishments just because I feel like I've spent a lot of time with those circles already, and I think that that will suffice. And it does give a big impact on the layout, so I think I'm going to be fine with that. As you can see, I don't have any A's or Y's for this particular foam sticker, so I am kind of manipulating my letters so that it will look like the letters that I need it to be. I cut out the X, I cut out a little piece of the X to make a Y, and then I used the V, inverted it, and just put a dot in the middle for the A, and then the rest I have letters for. So then there's that Sunday Fun Day. And then because I wanted to add some more circles to this layout, because I felt like the theme goes well with it, I'm going to add some Nuvo drops in 3 different places, and then add a little bit of embellishments here and there. I will have some close-up shots here so you can see the final product or final result. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!